Hello Mates, I'm excited for this particular tutorial. I don't know if it's my client's excitement that is getting me excited, but yeah, she reached out to me and she's like, Damara, it's my birthday, do your thing and trust your girl to deliver. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to go about the making of these flowers, the different ways you can make them, and how to create a design specific to your taste or that of your client. And if you'd love for us to make an outfit for your beautiful day, you can still reach out to me on TikTok at Sewing with Damara. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, this is the right time to do that. Now let's dive right into this. With me here, I have two pieces of fabric and you will notice that one is longer and the other one is shorter. For the shorter one, that was the length of crepe I had left, so yours can be longer. So this longer one here, I went to weave it in the market and they ended up closing up all the sides because this was on fold and now it's together like this. So we are going to make do with it like this. That is why I have two pieces of fabric here to show you guys that you can actually create your flowers regardless of what it looks like. This particular one is about 2 inches long. It's a little bit shorter than 2 inches because of the weaving, and this other one here is 2.5 inches long. For the width of this one, I have about 27.5 inches. Like I said, this is the length of the crepe fabric I had left. You can make yours longer or just like mine depending on what you are creating. For this other one, for the length, I have about 56 inches. Now this one here, we are going to be using it like this, as it's long and squared up like this. We're going to use it like this, but this other one here, we are going to be carving it out. Regardless of which method you want to use, you can still create your beautiful flowers. So starting with this crepe fabric, we are going to be carving out the ends. So to carve out the ends, there's no particular measurement needed. All you need to do is to carve it out just like I'm doing here. So I'm just going to carve out this end. Just watch what I'm doing to know exactly how to go about yours. After carving it out, just go ahead and trim it off like this. You'll be making a stitch on this end here. After making this stitch, just go ahead and trim off the excess. Turn this over to the right side and give it a really good press. So after doing that, this is what you should have. Next thing you will do is to get your thread and your needle, and we are going to just stitch. To stitch this, start with the end and tie your thread here. And now we are going to stitch this. We are going to be stitching on the end here. So to stitch this, make sure to tie the thread first, and then we are going to be making a loose stitch. So you can see how I'm doing this. Go ahead and do the same thing. I'll be making a loose stitch all the way to the end of this piece. Now when you get to the end, don't tie the thread yet. What you're going to do is to gather this. So you can see how I'm gathering this. Go ahead and do the same thing. Gather it until it looks exactly like what mine looks like. Now that we are satisfied with this, you can now go ahead and tie the thread so that it remains like this and cut off the excess. You can see that our flower or rose, whatever you'd like to call it, is already forming. Now we're going to repeat the same thing that we did here on this other long one here. First of all, tie your thread. Now go ahead and make a loose stitch. Remember that when you get to the end, you don't tie, you go ahead and gather first. So you can see how I'm gathering that. Make sure you gather it to your satisfaction, and then now go ahead and tie the thread to secure it in place. Cut off the excess of the thread. Now we are going to proceed to create the flowers. When it comes to creating these flowers, the structure and the design you get depends on how long your piece of fabric is and how you fold it. Starting with this one here, let's try something first. I'm going to fold in this end here like this. You will notice that I fold it and made sure that this side is kind of curved in. So I'm going to use this other side to put it inside like this. If you don't understand what I'm saying, just watch what I'm doing. You can see what I have have here. If this was longer, it's going to give a different look entirely. Let's create something else, making it more loose and just letting it lay flat. I'm going to take this end and just fold it in like this and use the other one to just slightly place it on top like this. You will notice that this looks like all those trending birthday dresses you see now. I'm going to place a picture on the screen so you understand what I'm talking about. So this totally depends on how you fold it, how full it is. That is what is going to give you the flower you will get. Okay, so please just be flexible and create something spectacular. For this other one here, it's going to be the same thing. I'm just going to take it this way, take the end here, fold it in, and then taking the other side, I'm just going to continue putting it inside and going round and round and round. Just watch what I'm doing, you understand what I'm saying. And this is what you're going to have. So you can see what that looks like. I'm just going to keep it on the table for you guys to see what the both of them look like. So this totally depends on what you want to create and what you're looking at. So let's tack this down. I'm also going to create one more design. So you can see how I'm folding that in, and you can see how this came out. And if it's fuller, it's going to give this really nice flowery look. For this particular tutorial, I'll be doing the flat surface one. So I'm just going to fold it flat this way. Using my thread and needle, I'm just going to tack this down to keep it in place. Now while tacking this down, I needed to make sure that the center is together just the way I'm making sure it is like this. This is what is going to help the structure to stay in place, okay? After tacking it down, I'm just going to tie it and keep it aside. We are going to repeat the same thing on this other side. I'm just going to fold it again so you guys can see how I went about that. Make sure that you're holding this in the center just like I'm doing here. The reason is because remember we folded it in. So as you're folding it, you're holding it all together at the center so that when you want to tack it down, the thread and needle is passing through each and every one of them to keep them in place. So I'm just going to use my thread and needle to tack it just like I did the first one. I'm just going to tack it all round and tie it. So after doing this, you can see how beautiful this came out. It is really easy to create your flowers. You can make it into any design you want, any structure you want, depending on what you're looking at and what your client wants. Okay, these are all the different flowers I created for this dress, and you also notice here that some of the flowers aren't looking exactly the same. This is pretty easy, and I hope this tutorial was really helpful. I'll see you guys in my next tutorial.